let's move in to our TCF top three. And of course, in honor of the NFL draft starting tonight, we have the biggest NFL draft bus. Um, there's quite a few of them. So does anybody want to get us started?
I'll go first. We'll just go through all three of them. So we can kind of go through some of these pictures here. First one, this is going to break the hearts of a lot of Bears fans. Kevin White.
Yeah.
Kevin White, he was drafted 7th overall by the Bears and never scored a touchdown for the Bears.
That's tough.
That's tough.
Not good, Bob.
Still grinding it out, though.
Yeah,
pretty sure he's on the Texans.
My second pick is Trent Richardson.
Oh, that's a good
one.
I don't think he played for very long. Amazing college career, like a lot of Alabama running backs do, but
perfect running back body.
Couldn't read a hole to save his life.
He's playing some in football league in like Mexico. This is what I had seen. He was drafted 3rd overall by the Browns. And then my last pick, Matt Leinart. Out of college, this guy was probably one of the coolest guys. He was drafted 10th overall by the Cardinals. And what he's really known for is probably being an announcer nowadays, and also being on one of like the greatest college football teams of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But just not a very good NFL career.
He was
very average.
College. Awesome in college, dude. People don't talk about
for sure
how good he really was. Like those teams were loaded. He was fucking awesome in college, man. He was a stud.
He was, and like he was just so cool.
Very. He was
California,
a guy.
Yeah. Very SoCal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he was like in college. He was about my age. He was in college when I was in college. Like that was like the guy everybody was like, all right, let's be Matt Leinart. That's perfectly fine, dude, to try to emulate when you're growing up.
Absolutely. Those are good picks, Zach. Matt, do you want to go or you want me to get mine?
I'll go. I got 3 that substances really kind of probably derailed most of their careers, but first one, Jamarcus Russell. Probably never seen anybody with a bigger arm. Just a pure ability to throw the football. I thought the guy was going to be a stud. He was really good in college. He was like had all the tools.
He was,
and then
so good.
He was really, really tough. Like he was just a beast.
He was first
overall,
big dude. Right?
Yeah, he could take. Yeah, he could take a hit. He had a rocket for a fucking arm. Like seemed to be like a pretty good like smart player on the field and stuff too. So it was one of those guys that I thought he was going to be a stud. Obviously, the purple drink helped sink him a little bit, but
he also picked
the
drug that just makes you chubby.
That and he just didn't really seem to have the work ethic needed to be a productive NFL quarterback.
Well, the famous story about them sending him home blank VHS tapes and blank DVDs to watch film, and he said that he watched them, and they knew that he did it because they were blank.
Yeah, that one stings.
What a move!
It's a rough way to find out that you really screwed the pooch on your first overall pick.
Yeah.
My next one is it was a 2nd overall pick actually in his draft. It was a coin flip situation between him and Peyton Manning. My next one's Ryan Leaf. I'll admit, when I was a youngster watching these two do battle in college, I was of the mind Ryan Leaf was going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. I loved Peyton Manning. I thought Ryan Leaf was going to be an absolute just a superstar though, and thought it was a total coin flip. Obviously, it was not. Leaf's career went down. He got really heavily into painkillers, I believe, too. So, seems like he's, I think, kind of tried to turn it around the last few years. But yeah,
he does like a lot of I think he does a lot of motivational speaking.
Yeah, the guy he's probably got stories for days. So I mean, somebody you should probably listen to. But yeah, I mean, tough career for him. Thought he was going to be a stud. The last one I have was a receiver who I think might have been the best or most talented wide receiver I've ever seen like play at the college level. Is Charles Rogers. That dude was big. He was fast. He had ridiculous hands, ridiculous feet. thought that guy, you know, coming from Michigan State, getting drafted by the Lions was kind of a seamless transition, and just couldn't figure it out and got in trouble, got into
I'd never heard of
drugs.
this guy.
Yeah, he was an absolute
Really?
star. He was a stud, dude. An absolute stud. Started the train for the Lions of picking 3 wide receivers in a row of top 10 picks. And he was, I thought between him and Mike Williams, I thought Mike Williams was also going to be a stud. But Charles Rogers was a real deal, I thought for sure.
Passed away, right?
Yeah, I think he died a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
Might have been a little bit
2019.
longer. Yeah, tough. It's a sad story, and you just don't like to see like guys that have that much talent just kind of let it go. But
This is absurd, Matt. I'm on his Wikipedia page right now. He played 24 games at Michigan State. He had 2,821
dude,
yards
he
in
was
24 games.
He was Randy Moss in college. I'm not fucking kidding, dude. Like he was the real deal.
Goodness
He had a
gracious.
27 touchdowns.
Absolute garbage quarterback too in college. It was fucking Drew Smoker.
Jake Smoker.
Or I think it was Jake
Jeff
Smoker. Jeff Smoker. I knew one of the J's, Smoker J, whatever it is. But Jeff Smoker was just not a great college quarterback. It was one of those things where if that guy, if he had a Matt Leinart or something, it would have been some real fireworks.
Good Lord. Charles Rogers had 2 children before he graduated high school.
I think he ended up with like 8 kids between like 4 or 5 women. It was he had some issues, that's for sure. But.
Yeah, he was a stud. Good choices there, Maddie. I'll finish up with mine. My first one as a Packers fan. I got to go with Tony Mandridge. He was supposed to be. I know this is a little bit before my time, but he's still one. You know, you hear about all the time. I mean, he was an absolute science experiment going in the first round. I mean, he's supposed to be the next big thing, and just could not get it together.
A science experiment or a steroid experiment?
That's what I was getting at. I mean, just absolutely juiced to the gills. I mean, he had the giant cowboy collar. He was just a specimen, and he just never produced for the Packers, and was a huge bust for them. Really says a lot about the late 80s, early 90s Packers that were just absolute garbage. Moving in one a little bit more recently, Johnny Manziel. As a Florida fan, I always hated Johnny Manziel because he was so good in college. And then obviously some of his, off the field stuff. But like even he was like a late first round pick, and everybody's like, oh, that's still really good value, and just did nothing and was out of the NFL in a couple seasons. I believe he's playing in the fan-controlled football league right now.
I don't even think he really plays in that. I think he just has like a part owner or something.
Well, no, he had a touchdown pass to Terrell Owens last weekend. Yeah.
I thought I'd seen him like in the stands.
No, he had a touchdown pass to Terrell Owens. They play on the Zappers, which
I think Bob Memory owns the team.
Yep. And then last, I have RG3. The Washington Redskins traded everything to the Rams to get RG3. Had a really good first year, and then unfortunately for him, I feel like a lot of it came with the injuries. But I mean,
he played on one of the worst fields of all time.
Well, it's like fucking ACL left. I think he ripped them both
seriously. But I mean, it was a stud in college. Those Baylor teams were insanely good. And he won a Heisman on the cover of NCAA football, and then it was a couple years and he was out, and just it's just such a Washington story for them to trade as many picks as they did to the Rams, and then it kind of fizzled out there. So those are my top 3. Who all
careers a backup?
Yeah, that's
the only
true.
one that I didn't say of mine, Tim Tebow.
No, it's because he's a baseball player.
If you want to stick to the Bears, you got Stan Thomas was bad, Cade McNown was bad, Cedric Benson was bad, Curtis Enos was bad.
We drafted Mr. Whiskey 12.
Yeah.
Rashawn Salam didn't work out.
Matt, I know this was a little bit before my time. That's why I didn't pick him. But Todd Marinovich.
Gabe Karimi. Todd Marinovich, yeah. Yeah, he was.
I mean, and
His dad was the one that drove him into the ground. Like,
yeah,
he was like one of those like crazy psycho parents, and Marinovich got into drugs and kind of
wasn't
shit
he
his
like
career away.
doing meth in like the middle of games, like going into
I think heroin was his drug.
Heroin, yeah. Yeah, he
Yeah,
like cut his hand on like a crack pipe or something in the middle of a
yeah,
game or something.
he was uber talented, but man, yeah, it didn't work out for him because of drugs. But yeah, it was. I was gonna say with Mandridge, he was the one I was gonna say if you didn't. That was the guy like my dad always made fun of growing up because he, being a huge Bears fan. Mandridge was always the guy that got all the pub. Brian Bosworth was another one. Long time. He was an Oklahoma stud linebacker, drafted early by the Seahawks. Got fucking ran over by Bo Jackson, and that was basically his career wrapped up in one. He was another guy that was juiced up to the gills, like Boom said as well. Bo Jackson, I wouldn't call it bust in the NFL. Bo Jackson would have been probably one of the best running backs of all time had he not had his hip
femur
just completely.
snap in half.
His hip and his leg just got completely shredded. And that was just such a. That was not a bust situation, but any chance I can get to drop Bo Jackson on us is somebody.
Do you
that
know how
deserves
hard
mentioning.
it is to break a human femur bone?
The fucking way it happened, though, too, dude. His leg was like pulled from behind. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember
Literally
I think there was like a 30 for 30 on him, and they're like, the only way that happens is because he was so strong.
Yeah,
yes,
it's nuts, dude. It's crazy.
We had a kid
that
I went to high school with that broke his femur. I believe it was his sophomore year, and they told him it takes over 700 pounds of pressure to break the human femur. I mean, that says all it is right there.
Fucking elephant.
Yeah, seriously. But let us know who any of the ones we must have forgot here on the draft bus.